Here it is, the world-famous weather for Weather Geeks. Welcome back, everyone. It is Tuesday evening. It's been another busy day here in the Weather Center. A couple of busy afternoons to kick off the work week this week with some rounds of thunderstorms, some localized severe weather, some real heavy rain in some spots. Today's activity was, generally speaking, not as problematic as yesterday. But still, we did have some locally heavy rain, and especially right around 5:30 to 6 o'clock over here along the Lawrence-Mercer County borders. We had pretty good downpours and a lot of vivid lightning over here. And from New Wilmington over to maybe just south of Grove City, some Doppler radar estimates here of an inch or perhaps even up to 2 inches worth of rain. There's not many rain gauges that we have available to access over there, but a pretty good deluge right around dinner time. We also had some heavy rain earlier on in parts of Mahoning County, around Greenford, and heading down into Columbiana County, southwestern part of the county. Some places might have gotten a half an inch to an inch worth of rain with those storms this afternoon. The storms were most problematic across Columbiana County, and I'm going to rewind this, and here's the storms that prompted the severe thunderstorm warning. This was right around 4:40 this afternoon, and here's a look at the Doppler radar estimated wind speeds at that time. Right along the Carroll-Columbiana border, and then along the southern tier of Columbiana County from Salineville on east. We were in the midst of our live stream querying some wind gusts here of maybe up to 50 miles per hour or so, pardon me. Now, I haven't seen too many problems as far as any damage or anything like that goes down here, but that was the reason for the severe thunderstorm warning earlier on today. By the way, yesterday, there was actually a tornado in western Pennsylvania. I'm going to get out of the way here so you can see this. The National Weather Service went out and did a storm survey today near the border between Beaver and Butler counties, actually pretty close to the Beaver-Lawrence border, kind of where those three counties come together, and they found tornado damage, not to any structures. This is all tree damage, but an EF0 tornado was found in through here at about 4:01 in the afternoon on Monday. A lot of snapping of trunks and large branches and some uprooted trees as well. EF0 with maximum wind speeds of 70 miles per hour. So that was yesterday. Today, no tornadoes, but plenty of juicy air. We have the dew points across the region this evening. They're well up into the 60s to around 70. It's a midsummer evening that's just soupy. If this map doesn't scream July, I don't know what does. So it is very, very humid out there. I wanted to dive into some geeky stuff here for a minute. It's weather for Weather Geeks, after all. The GOES 16 data is now available to us. Here in the weather office. This data has been available on the internet for a while in a preliminary form, but now while it's not technically operational, the data is able to be accessed now by our weather system, and so we're going to begin showing you much higher resolution visible and infrared and water vapor satellite images, and this is this evening's visible satellite loop of tornadic thunderstorms out across eastern North Dakota and over into Minnesota. And you can see some overshooting cloud tops here. That's where there's little parts of the tops of these storms that actually are shooting up over the main deck of clouds, and we call those overshooting tops, and they're real neat to see on this high-res data. This satellite data is not only, of course, much higher resolution, like having a camera with a lot more megapixels than you used to have, but it also updates much more frequently. We get new data here every couple of minutes. That'll make the animations a lot smoother. It'll make it so we can pick out individual little features a lot easier. And I've said this a few times on Weather for Weather Geeks. This GOES 16 data is the biggest advance in weather technology in my nearly 16-year career. This is the biggest leap. This is kind of like going from having a 13-inch standard definition TV to having a 55-inch wall-mounted high-definition TV in your home. That's how big of a leap this is. So tonight is just night one of our ability to show you this stuff within our weather graphics system. All right, let's start looking ahead. Wednesday is going to be an interesting day. I don't think that heavy storms are nearly as likely on Wednesday. The atmosphere is going to be what we call capped for a lot of the day tomorrow. And what that means is a layer of warm air aloft will prevent storms from firing like they would otherwise. A little boundary off to our north is going to keep moving north, and it's going to keep the focus for shower and thunderstorm activity mostly over Michigan, maybe over Lake Erie, and then heading up towards Buffalo and Rochester. And for us, especially if we get into some sun tomorrow afternoon, It looks largely dry after, say, noon. There could be a couple of showers around in the morning, maybe a small chance of a thunderstorm, but I think we're dry after about 2 p.m. in most spots, and it'll be a great day to hit the pool because it is going to be hot. So hour-by-hour rain chances tomorrow looking like this. Again, maybe up to 40% morning and midday, then dropping down into kind of the negligible category for much of the afternoon. Storm Prediction Center, this is their risk for tomorrow afternoon. I think what you'll see tonight is them trimming the slight risk area to the north, kind of like this, and chopping it out of much of Ohio and northwest PA. They might expand it over to western New York, but I think we're going to be out of the slight risk in all of northern Ohio with their next update for tomorrow. I'm not expecting much severe weather at all in our neck of the woods tomorrow, and yeah, heat's going to be the story tomorrow. We're going to stay for a while. Air temperatures tomorrow, upper 80s. Heat index values could easily be 93, 94 degrees in some spots tomorrow afternoon. Now, what about the rest of the week? I think there could be a couple of rounds of wet weather on Thursday, maybe one first thing in the morning. Just could be pretty busy Thursday morning with the showers and storms during WFMJ today. Then as we get into the afternoon, this week boundary slips our way. This is when we could see a couple of storms again, and these could be stronger. Now, this front's going to kind of transition into a stationary boundary on Friday. Thankfully, it's not going to stay stationary for long. It is going to start moving again by Friday night and into Saturday, allowing us to get into some drier, more comfortable air. But as long as this thing's kind of just lollygagging on Friday, I'm going to have to allow for another shower or a thunderstorm Friday, particularly during the morning hours. Then over the weekend, we should dry things out. The severe weather threat, I think, will be elevated on Thursday, particularly in the afternoon, with a threat for damaging winds and perhaps even some hail. Tornado threat, as usual, is pretty low on our scale here, but it's not down to 0 with the threat on Thursday. Here comes the drier air, though, just in time for the weekend. There it is, swooping in. The high moisture content is pushed off to the south towards the Gulf Coast region and down into the Carolinas. And while this won't be as dry of an air mass as we just had last weekend, we're not going to see dew points in the 40s. We'll see dew points dropping into the 50s, I think, for a time, Saturday into Saturday night and probably into parts of Sunday. And actually, early next week doesn't look that humid either. You can see that on our dew point trend. Hey, that's not bad for July. It's a lot better than 70. So we may see a handful of days here where it may not be all that muggy. I think it's going to turn pretty warm, though, middle of next week. We could be looking at middle and upper 80s for daytime highs for a few days middle of next week. Nothing unusual for July, but still a little bit warmer than the weekend, I think. That's it for tonight's Weather for Weather Geeks. Thanks, as always, for watching. I'll see you tonight on 21 News at 11 o'clock. Look for more Weather Geeks right here tomorrow evening.